Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed. We're brought to you by ARIA Health, your neighbors here in Lower Bucks County, taking care of your health. Well, we got the first game underway for the season, so the football season now in stride for this year. And of course, the Pennsbury Falcons came through with a victory over Council Rock South by the score of 28-0, getting all 28 points in the first half of play. A good showing in that first half for Pennsbury. Things happened in the second half we'll talk about a little bit that weren't exactly what they were hoping for, but of course they had that lead, and that might have had something to do with the fact that the kids really didn't have their mind on the ball game in that second half as much as the first half. And Coach, when I say that, I look at the way you guys were moving the football, and you know, the offense was moving nicely. Rob Daly, I just thought, did a tremendous job for you for a guy who's in there for the first time. And I think I mentioned to Daly after the ball game, I was kind of surprised that he ran the first time early in the game, that he was running the ball. But I think what it did too, it surprised the defense that he ran so early.
Yeah, I mean, Rob did a great job stepping in, and it's funny, he's probably our third starting quarterback in as many weeks. Cody DeBeek started the first scrimmage, Mike Alley the second scrimmage, and then the first game was Rob Daly. Also the fact that, you know, we kind of came into, basically end of June, we were still thinking Breon Clark was going to be our quarterback.
Right.
So we've been doing a lot of mixing and matching there at quarterback, but Rob, being a great athlete that he is and a competitor, he stepped right in and did, especially in the first half, did an excellent job.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the things, of course, you were looking for is somebody who seemed to be steady, and it wouldn't be like a burden on him. And I told him after the ball game, he seemed to me from the very start, the first snap that he took, that he wasn't concerned about anything. He was going to go about his business as he should.
Yeah, and he did. He did. He's a gamer. We know that. We knew that from when he played defense for us last year. I've known him because I've known him, the young man for a while. I knew he would get in there and do a good job for us.
You take a look at the offense putting up yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half of play. Things were working pretty well for a first game out.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's usually, we have the first week blues here from Pennsbury. Almost every year we go out and we struggle the first week, and either we win or we lose. It's a struggle, and so it was good, to get out at least in the first half and play very well.
Yeah, I know when it comes down to it, you moved the ball extremely well. And this year, as we mentioned, you had 3 starters on the line coming back. Turns out to be your left guard, your center, and your right tackle were all back for you. And of course, they played well. What do you think is a situation now going into game number 2? Any changes we might see on that offensive line?
Well, I think we're going to see some of Chris Rubrick, who's a converted fullback. He's a big, strong kid, very good athlete, very quick. He's kind of the ideal type you look for in a wing T guard. He'll be getting some good playing time there. You might see a little bit of Jackson Herbert, who's another guard that might get some time in, and you might even see a little bit of our big sophomore Maurice Stooks playing a little bit of tackle, maybe alternating in here and there.
Yeah, Maurice is rather imposing when you come out there, especially if somebody across from him sees him for the first time.
Yeah, he's a big kid, and big. I mean, he's real big. There's big, and then there's real big, and he's the latter of the two.
Yeah, nice 6'7" and over 300-pounder, and and just a youngster. That's what gets you. He's just a kid.
He is. He really is. He's a sophomore, and I think he's 15 years old. So he's actually has some throwing to do. Incredibly.
All right, we're going to be back to talk about what happened in that second half of that Council Rock South ball game last week, right after these messages.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
And we're back once again with the Galen Snyder Show. And as we said, things didn't work out quite like they did in the first half for Pennsbury in the second half of play. Of course, they had that 28-0 lead at that point. And one of the things that happened, Coach, and I'm sure you were not happy about, as I had mentioned, is the fact that they put the ball on the ground a lot in that second half.
Yeah, we did not play a good second half from an offensive standpoint. We had 5 fumbles, 3 of them were turnovers. The other 2 actually were instrumental in stopping some drives once we felt like we had them going. So was not a good second half from an offensive standpoint.
And when you look at your ball club, one thing you can say, well, you look at that and that was a minus, but the plus factor was the fact that they only allowed Golden Hawks to get down to the 7-yard line out of all those trips they may have had. So the defense did come through for you and can preserve the shutout for themselves.
Yeah, defensively we held them to under 100 total yards for the game. I thought we played an even better second half than we did the first half. First half we kind of getting adjusted to their style of offense, which is sometimes tough to simulate in practice. But then once we, familiarized ourselves with it, once the kids felt comfortable with it, we played it pretty well.
And of course, when it comes to the Council Rock South Ball Club, Vince Bedison has got a lot of underclassmen. I noticed he had a numerous amount of juniors on his team. They can only gain by what they do this year, and I'm sure they'll come around. It's going to take a little time, but they can start putting it together.
Yeah, they should. They were really young last year and took their lumps with some sophomores, and now those kids are juniors, and I think they're improving. I think they got some good things to come.
Well, when you look at it, of course, this is only the first week of the season, and of course, there's going to be week number 2 where teams maybe get a better line on exactly what they've got. As Galen said, which is true, a lot of teams in that first game, there's so much. There's the jitters, the fact that you're opening up, you want to really play well, show the coach and show everybody what you can do. But as Galen mentioned, his ball club and a lot of others kind of start slowly in that first ball game. But I noticed too that your team has made a big jump from first to second game just about every year.
Yeah, I think we always make improvement from the first week to the second week, and then I really believe by like the third week you see us usually where we're really hitting on all cylinders. So I expect the same this week. We made some adjustments, with some people in different spots offensively in the backfield and such. So I feel like we're going to make a move here.
What can we look for in the backfield as far as that goes, with spots that you're going to make some changes?
Well, Charlie Snorway's been playing left or right halfback for, he's been starting since he was a freshman. He's going to be going to our fullback position, which is the guy right behind the quarterback that gets a lot of more of the downhill running plays. And Charlie's done a great job over the years, as a wing and a halfback, blocking leads and sweeps and such. And now he's, the fullback, he's going to have the opportunity to carry the ball a little bit more.
And when you look at it, as it turns out, I know this time around this week you're going to have Mike Alley. He'll be playing for you now. So what's the situation with him as far as that goes? Needing some time, or you think he's got enough behind him, and knowing what he did in past years before, that he can be ready to step in?
Well, I think Mike, we're excited about it. Mike, we just found out, last night actually, or the other night, that he's ready to go. So, we're going to put him right in there. We've liked what we've seen out of him in practice. We like what we've seen out of him in what we saw out of him in the wood scrimmage. So, we're excited to give Mike the opportunity.
And certainly when I look at that and a change here with him coming in, same thing when you had Breon Clark. Breon Clark, I saw him when he first came, and I watched some of his practices, and of course, he had to learn a new system, the footwork, how to get it all down pat. And I really think that Dave Sanderson did a great job with Breon Clark, bringing him along from what I saw the first practice that he had, and as he began to practice and get ready for the opening game that he would play for you. So I would imagine, probably Sanderson's going to be able to do the same thing here.
Yeah, I think, and Dave is, Dave Sanderson's our offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. He does a great job. And if you look at Mike, Mike's been a 2-year starter over at Connolly, and so he's moving over here, and he's an experienced guy. So he's had a lot of good coaching. We had Coach Techman working with him over at Egan, and he got him ready. And of course, now that we turned over to Coach Sanderson, I think we're in good shape.
right, we're going to be back with more here on the Galen Snyder Show right after this.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
As it turns out this week, it's time for game number 2 for the Falcons. And of course, when they come to this ball game, we're going to be looking at a team that they've been playing in the non-league ball games before the regular league starts up for a number of years, had some really good games with them, and that would be the Frankfort Pioneers, as Pennsbury, of course, will be the home team for this ball game, their first home game of the season. And Frankfort Pioneers didn't do well. Their opening ball game were beaten rather soundly there by Downingtown East Ball Club, which we know is a tough team. But Frankfort is one that, as you know, Coach, has had skilled position players here and there, and maybe it takes them a little time too. We've seen before, they've had good games against you, but they seem to also get better as the season goes.
There's no doubt about it. They're in a situation where, you know, in some instances they're getting their kids together, some of their kids for the first time once they hit football season, so it takes them a little bit longer. They intentionally play a very difficult out-of-league schedule because it gets them ready for the public league, which is really what's important for them. Is the thing that moves them through the playoffs. Their out-of-league games don't even count towards their, you know, their district playoffs. So, you know, they're willing to go play at Downingtown East. Last year they played Archbishop Wood. They always play us. So they definitely step up for any challenge.
You know, when you look at them, you've played them now for a number of years, and Will Doggins brought his team up here. What do you expect from them, from what you normally see year in and year out from this ball club, what they run?
Well, they used to be, you know, old, when Mike Capriotti had a team and we played them for the majority of this series. They were like old school, wing T-esque, you know, they'd run some double tight, you know, they ran, you know, more 5-6 basic plays, but they really focused on trying to execute them, perfect them. Now they're in a spread, you know, they kind of went the way of a lot of schools. They're in a spread, you know, trying to get their athletes in space and get their quarterback moving around and get a dual threat quarterback. And so it's a different team. It's a different team, and we've played them the last couple of years as a different team. But so that's the main thing.
I think one of the things too, maybe that showed in that opening ball game against Downingtown East, is the fact that they got to get used to their own offense. They haven't really had a chance to really run it that much, except in practice leading up to their first game. So it's going to take them a little time.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving you a lot of formations, a lot of motions, all those types of things. So, you know, and if you're getting your kids late, getting them into camp, you know, really not spending, you know, as much time maybe as some other teams do in the all season running that style, it can take a bit. And I think that's where they were last game against Downingtown. You know, they lost to a better team in Downingtown, but at the same time they did a lot to hurt themselves. You know, with sometimes illegal motion, 2 men in motion, jumping off sides, legal formations, things like that, fumbles. I think they'll definitely clean up some of that for this week.
Now, when you look at it a week ago and your team getting off to that nice start in that ball game, what are the things that, you know, you took from that you were able to relay to the ball club that you thought they did really, really well to get ready for their second game?
Well, I mean, I thought that
Offense and defense.
Frankfurt?
No, your ball club.
Yeah, well, I thought defensively, you know, between the Wood scrimmage and the first game with Rock South, defensively, we did a really nice job, and we were playing 2 downhill offenses. I mean, even though Rock South is a triple option team as opposed to a power running team like Wood,
right,
they're still a downhill offense. They're still attacking the guard and the tackle area and almost on every
That's
play.
the way it's always been with Vince.
Yeah, and so this is a switch up. Being a spread team, now the defense has to get used to playing more laterally, being able to cover a lot more space laterally, maybe not having the same point of attack as, you know, maybe as physical point of attack as the last 2 weeks. But you know, it's just a little bit different feel.
All right, we're going to be back with more here with Galen Snyder right after this.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
And we're back once more with the Galen Snyder Show, getting ready for our second game of the season with the Pennsbury Falcons, as they'll be taking on the Pioneers of Frankfurt in just a few minutes to get ready for that ball game. And you know, when you look at it there, that's game number 2, and we'll see exactly what they've made different and what they've done compared to that first game, and how they made some improvements along the way to get ready for this ball game. Well, one of the things, of course, that your team has always done is run the ball extremely well, and you've got the backs, as we said, who can do it, and some of the linemen that can do it again. And I would think that, you know, when it comes to a ball game like this with this Frankfurt Ball Club, you probably do the same thing as before with them, and as is try to test them there then as far as that goes with the running game most of the time, especially early.
Well, yeah, no doubt. You know, we want to clean up some things from last week with the running game. We want to get back to executing the offense, not turning the ball over, staying on our blocks, all the things that we needed to do that we did in the first half that we didn't do in the second half. So that's definitely the goal coming out of the gates.
You know, and also, of course, for the second game, having another quarterback in there, a different quarterback this week, you're going to be trying to get him to the point where he also gets himself settled down.
Yeah, well, you know, Mike's a pretty calm guy, but, you know, it'll be his, you know, first opportunity wearing a Falcon uniform in a game situation to be out there. You know, there should be a good crowd. So I think it's an exciting chance for him, but also, like you said, you know, we want to make sure he remains calm. He seems like a calm young man, but you never know, like I said, until you get out there and start playing.
Well, when you look at the team so far, of course, the one win, that's a good one there to get the thing started. And things, of course, you want to improve on for the second game of the year. And the biggest thing, I guess, is certainly going to be keeping the ball instead of, you know, tossing it around and end up being 5 fumbles in the second half and 3 recovered with the opposition. The biggest thing I was wondering was, are you still going to have Chuck Snorway back there? Snorway had little problems with those punts in that ball game.
Well, you know, we're putting Charlie at fullback, so that's, I know he's excited about that, but I don't know, I think we've been working a couple other guys fielding punts. You know, that might be the end of that, but we'll see.
It was just one of those things. It was one of those games, and you know,
Yeah.
he just had, just like I said, he just had one of those ball games that the ball was popping out on him. But certainly, you know what he is. You know, he brings to the table each and every week, and you know too what you've got going with this ball club, and it's the fact that you know, they're seasoned now. They're seasoned offensively, and probably seasoned even more defensively.
Yeah, and Charlie wasn't the only one fumbling. We had
No.
plenty of guys. We had fumble issues with a lot of, you know, quite frankly, some of our best players. You know?
Yeah.
And certainly Charlie's, you know, Charlie's kind of our you know, our top guy there.
Yeah.
So.
And nobody feels worse about it. I know Charlie. Nobody feels worse about it than him.
Well, he'll get over it. He's excited about this week coming
Yeah.
back and playing some fullback. And no, I think offensively and defensively, you know, we feel like we have some experience on both sides of the ball. I think it shows. I'm excited to see us continue to improve. We're trying to take that, you know, that's basically the way we're working things, you know, looking at practice schedules. And, you know, how do we get stronger? How do we continue to improve? You know, those things, looking at them each week.
Yeah, and of course, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but of course, when it comes to the next week, you'll be up there in Newtown again, taking on the Council Rock North. And as I mentioned before, it's nice the fact that, you know, it turned out that you and Council Rock North and South are going to be able to, you know, play, hopefully, year in, year out against one another. I know Vince Bedison certainly would like it.
Oh, definitely. They're coming down here next year.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a good game. They're all good games. It's good to play the local games, and it would be sad if you didn't play.
Yeah,
quite frankly.
right.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it, and I know we have Frankfurt. It's going to be a big challenge this week, and offensively, they're not the same, but philosophically, they're similar to Rock North in the sense that they're,
Right.
you know, another spread team.
Exactly.
So we went back to back between Wood and Rock South with downhill teams, and now we have more lateral spread teams for the next 2 weeks. weeks.
And I would think you didn't mind either, the fact that you'll get an opportunity to see a spread ball club because, you know, Brandon McElwain is going to be in that. And of course, he's been running that now up there and doing well with it. So it's probably going to be nice for you to see that before you see him right back to back.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It'll be a good challenging couple of weeks for us. And I think week 4 we're headed up to Souderton, and that'll be a wing tea fest between the two of us, which will be interesting as well.
All right, so we're going to have ourselves a good ball game again here tonight. We're just ready a little bit away from kickoff for tonight's ball game. Pennsbury, of course, going to be at Falcon Field, their first home game of the season. And of course, we are brought to you by Aria Health, your neighbors here in Bucks County. And of course, they take care of your health. For the Galen Snyder Show, I'm Vince Reed.